Oh my
Okay,
God.
and here we go.
That's the thing. He just does. I guess he doesn't understand. He just keeps walking into traps. He keeps. You know, again, it's like an old fighter that's past his prime. The things that may have worked, that may have been disruptive, in 2016, everybody knows what's coming. So he's the butt of the joke for, millions and millions of people last night.
Well, two things can be true because while he keeps losing and having problems along the way, especially legal problems, he's developing a whole new bench, a whole generation of young, I would say Republicans, but I think it's safer to call them Trumpers, who lie like he does, and they don't care.
And who will lose.
Like Katie Britt.
Who will lose. Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but they'll lose too. I mean, this is a pathway to loserdom. And we've been seeing that over the weekend. You've been seeing the reaction to Biden's State of the Union address. You've been seeing really stupid reactions from people that said he was going to be asleep. Now it's like, oh, he's too jacked up. And, oh, he's like, that's all certain networks had. Yeah, exactly.
Mr. President, talking about China, I want to ask you about perhaps one of the biggest business stories and policy stories of the moment, and that is TikTok. You have called TikTok a national security threat. At one point, you said that their, quote, data collection threatens to allow the Chinese Communist Party access to Americans' personal and proprietary information. And yet it appears that you've now reversed your view on banning TikTok. Why is that?
So I had it done. And then Congress said, well, they ultimately usually fail. They are like extremely political, and they're extremely subject to people called lobbyists who happen to be very, very talented, very good, and very rich. I could have banned TikTok. I had it banned just about. I could have gotten it done. But I said, you know what? But I'll leave it up to you. I didn't push them too hard because, let them do their own research and development. And they decided not to do it. But as you know, I was at the point where I could have gotten it done if I wanted to. I sort of said, you guys decide. You make that decision because it's a tough decision to make. Frankly, there are a lot of people on TikTok that love it. There are a lot of young kids on TikTok who will go crazy without it. There are a lot of users. There's, a lot of good, and there's a lot of bad with TikTok. But the thing I don't like is that without TikTok, you can make Facebook bigger. And I consider Facebook to be an enemy of the people, along with a lot of the media. What Facebook did with lock boxes, with the $500 million Zuckerbucks lock boxes that he put in, I mean, I consider illegal, but, they put people in jail when they spend... They put people in jail when they spend more than $5,600 in a campaign. They go to jail if they're $200. Look at Dinesh D'Souza. Right. They put him in jail over a couple of $100. And yet here's a guy spends $500 million and he doesn't go to jail.
Mr. President, though, is TikTok, but do you believe that TikTok is a national security threat or not? Because if it is, and I believe that the emergency powers order that you had put in place at the time suggested that it was that not true?
I do believe that. I do believe it, and we have to very much go into privacy and make sure that we are protecting the American people's privacy and data rights. And I agree, but, we also have that problem with you have that problem with Facebook and lots of other companies, too. I mean, they get the information, they get plenty of information, and they deal with China, and they'll do whatever China wants. If you look at some of our American companies, when you talk about highly sophisticated companies that you think are American, they're not so American. They deal in China, and China, if China wants anything from them, they will give it. So that's a national security risk also. But when I look at it, I'm not looking to make Facebook double the size. And if you ban TikTok, Facebook, and others, but mostly Facebook will be a big beneficiary. And I think Facebook has been I think Facebook has been very bad for our country, especially when it comes to elections.
Mr. President, you met recently with Jeff Yass, who's a hedge fund manager, has a stake in TikTok. He's a huge GOP donor. Steve Bannon has suggested that you've been paid off to switch your view. How did your view change? How did that come about? And did you have a conversation with Jeff Yass about it?
No, I didn't. I met with him very briefly. I made a speech, and I said hello to him and his wife, who's lovely. And actually, her primary thing was on education. She wants choice, as I do. And she mentioned to me more than anything, we talked about education. It was a meeting that lasted for a few minutes. Now, the only one I met was, I met them both, and they're, I don't think I ever met him before, but he never mentioned TikTok. She did mention school choice, and that's what her whole, in fact, she said, my whole life is based around school choice. It was a very important thing to her, and I agree.
So just been watching the Oscars, and Jimmy Kimmel has got one of those, boom, has literally taken seconds to destroy and own former guy. Can't show you the footage, but you can hear
totally
the sound.
Like an extra minute.
Brilliant.
And, I'm really proud of something. I was wondering if I could share it with you. I just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again. Okay, now, see if you can guess which former president just posted that on Truth. Anyone? No? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
I just want to thank you for your tremendous support, and here it is. If you want to go out and get it, you can go out and get it. Have fun with it. But people do like it, I must say. Thank you very much.